everyone, and welcome to the Harbor Maintainers Talk. Thank you for staying that late, and I hope you had a great conference so far. My name is Orlin. I'm from SUSE, obviously, and I'm the community maintainer, and that's Vadim, one of the core maintainers of Project Harbor. So we're going to try to do an overview of what we've done for the last year. We're going to do some updates on the community side and what comes next, and Vadim is going to do some demos. So how many of you are using Harbor? I suppose most of you. Great. So I'm not going to read that. Some very brief overview of how much Harbor is mature. And that's the timeline. 2014 initiated at VMware, 2016 open source, 2018 donated, and 2020 graduated at CNCF. So this year we celebrate something like 10 years. Depends how you look at it. If you missed that, I think we still have these stickers.
Oh yeah, we have.
Yeah, so it's like our anniversary stickers, and we're super happy to share that with you if you want to grab some. Harbor superpowers. For many, Harbor, it's either in their home lab or they run it on enterprise, but Harbor has some features that we think are distinguished through for the project from others, like the RBAC, IDP, and SSO integration. You can have your security folks happy by having all your images in place. You can replicate proxying, and in recent versions we added that vulnerability scanning, SBOM generation, and deployment policies. And also is for the ops, right? So you can automate almost everything right now with Harbor and the CLI. Vadim is going to show that later. You can do the multi-tenancy. You can deploy Harbor with Terraform, Pulumi. You have quota and policies all around. So that's in the very brief, the superpowers, if you somehow missing them. A little bit deep dive from this. The RBAC and the project isolation, so you can have a pure multi-tenancy within Harbor. The artifact distribution is like a few mechanisms how you can distribute artifacts by proxying, by preheating. About the security folks in the room, the vulnerability scanning is still with Trivy. We use also Trivy to create the SBOM. You can export all the CVs from your images and your whole Harbor instance, or per project as well. Through the security hub, you can take a look and deep dive into all that. Again, quota and immutability of the images, retention, garbage collection, and work rotation are super important for policy maintenance and security perspective. And yeah, the robot accounts are something that we're super happy to have. And we got some requests from you folks at the Project Pavilion area that we can improve a little bit, like replication and some of the airbags around robot accounts. So that's noted.
All right, just before we dive in the new features of Harbor, I want to give you a quick recap if you missed what changes happened into 13. So in the previous release, we rewrote the audit logs and to optimize for storage and also open up for other use cases so we can audit more things in the future. There is a new addition into Harbor is the support for CloudNativeAI. And CloudNativeAI is a new specification that allows to store AI models as OCI artifacts, and we support that already in the base version. And there is also some additional work planned for the next release on that. We did some OIDC updates and changes, mostly regarding log outflows. And there is also a Redis TLS support. TLS. Exactly, and then there is also some Dragonfly preheating updates that happened last release. In 2.14, overall we had over 100 fixes, updates, and features that were added into Harbor. Let's say 80% have been fixes, only a few updates and new features. The release is available since September. And next week, we're going to publish the first patch release that has also some features. 8 contributors or 7 contributors made it into Harbor this year. So new contributors that contributed to Harbor. Thank you for that. Everyone who is recognized themselves, thank you. And exactly. So for, what was it? Oh no. Yeah, for 2.14 we have those changes. The proxy cache, we had we optimized the proxy cache and fixed a few bugs in the proxy cache. We are not done yet. There are also some plans into 15 to improve the proxy caching, because I know there's a lot of pull request limitations from some vendors, and this causes for a few people who are using Harbor quite a headache. And we're trying to address this now, and we addressed this in the last release, and we're going to address this in the next release. There is a kind of a breaking change with the replication adapter. So by default, we're not enabling all the replications adapters now. So if you want to have the replication adapters activated, you have to activate it yourself. It's basically a configuration option in the settings. But the adapters are still there. They just not activated all at the same time. You need to activate them. There is a new language support that was added. There is a feature, it's called single active replication, which allows you, well, which solves the problem if you have cron-based replications scheduled very tightly. Let's say every couple of minutes you want to replicate data from another registry, and every time there was some data that was replicated, you had the problem that your old replication is still going on while the new one started. And this feature is preventing that. Basically, it just skips the next replication until the previous one is done, which is neat because now you can basically replicate or run the cron job every minute without having the problem that when there's something to replicate, actually, it blows. The artifact scanning got improvement, and we did some work again on the garbage collection. I know there's also some feedback from the community that the garbage collection is not really fast, but this is due to the fact of how we're operating on a bucket level. And in Docker distribution, this is part of the feature set. And we did some modification this iteration, and we're going to work on a new feature set for the garbage collection, so that in the next release, we will do the calculation entirely in the database or in the Harbor logic, and not iterating over the bucket objects to calculate what should be deleted. And because we're not iterating over the bucket, but iterating over the rows in the database, this will, I would say 10, 20 times improve, or 100 times improve the deletion of objects from Harbor. And then there was also some update in the CNI model, right? So these are the updates that happen in this release. What are we planning for the next year, right? And so coincidentally, November 6, 2025 is already now, or just passed. For 2.15, we are, as I said, planning to improve the garbage collection significantly. I hope we will release Harbor CLI 1.0 within the next weeks and months. We are really close to be feature complete on all features. There is a cosign update that was recently published, and somehow we didn't notice that. So the format changed, and we need to integrate that into Harbor, which will happen then into 15 as well. There's a really nice features if you're working on the on-prem or isolated environments. You're probably using self-signed certificates all over the place, and now it's possible to provide those self-signed certificate authorities when you set up the replications, and you don't need to put those CAs into the system, right, into the container system, but you can provide them as an argument when you create the registry endpoint. Proxying images, as I said, we want to improve the proxying of images. And there is one interesting thing I'm working on and trying to implement for the next release, or hopefully maybe, is the support of COPA. I'm not sure. Do you know what COPA means? It's copacetic, which is a tool that allows you to patch your container images. So it basically patches the container images and swaps out the dependency libraries for newer versions to remove the vulnerabilities. And because it's such a nice tool and it is a perfect fit for Harbor, we want to integrate this capability into Harbor so that when you're using Harbor, you can see like, oh, this is my vulnerabilities, and there's an option to tell you, okay, do you want to patch it? And then you create a patched version of your image. It will not replace your image, but it will create a patched version. So then you can basically choose which version you want to use. Probably we want to try out with a patched one. If it works, fine. If not, then you can still fall back to the other one. The same goes with the Slim toolkit. Slim toolkit is a capabilities. So the Slim toolkit has two features. One is slimming down container images. It is now part of Docker. And the other capability is X-ray. So it basically deconstructs the images, or basically reverse engineer the image and tells you how this image was built. So if you have images from third parties where you don't have the Docker file, you don't know how it was built, you can basically deconstruct the image and analyze it this way. And we would like to integrate this capability also into Harbor so you can see this functionality. And another big part of the work for the next release is a bit more under the hood. It will be focusing mostly on the build infrastructure and test infrastructure. We are still running on some old stuff on Jenkins, the test pipeline running partly there, and we want to update the test pipeline, update the libraries, Angular, and also, build the optimize the image build so that we can have easier releases, and this also goes then hand in hand with the ARM builds. Right. So these are the plans for our next release. I hope we can accomplish the Copa and or Slim already the next release. Maybe it will take a bit longer, but this is the roadmap. Right. I give Orlin.
Yeah. Next thing is me as a community person. I think it's super important to recognize the contributions from the community. Not only the main people that are always involved, like me and Vadim, but first of all, thank you for everyone who is first of all here, and second, are providing us with the feedback, what's missing, what we can work on, and to make it better, and all that in the context of yesterday news or this morning news about the Nginx ingress being archived. We're kind of worried that can happen on that level of project. So I want to share some data that we're good, but we need some love. So yeah, that's aggregated number for all sub-projects of the Harbor org. For the last year, we have almost 420 contributors, which is a great number for so well-established project. And when people say, "Hey, how is the project?" I'm like, it's kind of boring state right now because it's working and it's stable, so it's not the most exciting project out there in terms of development, rapid development stuff happening every month, right? And still people come and contribute, and by contributing that means everything from code issues, resolving issues to other people. Overall contribution, I think we're great track here. Our champions, thanks to everybody. Some of these folks are maintainers, some are just contributors, soon to become maintainers, I hope. Orgs, we are doing great in terms of the last year, how many entities have been contributing to the project, which it's a metric of how healthy the community is and how self-sustained it is. So we have overall 71. And those are the major players into our ecosystem. Why VMware and Broadcom are still divided? I don't know. I think that's how the statistics are made, or that's some people haven't updated their affiliation. So yeah, and also thanks to last year we announced that Mirantis are putting their effort towards joining the community and to have their stuff in. CERN also made that request. So I think great stuff are going to come from that area as well. And that was the big news for updates of this year. I said that on the Lightning Talk, ARM are joining with us. And for those of you who wants to run Harbor on ARM, for example, on their Raspberry Pis, or to test something locally on their Mac, or whatever, in 2015, and 2.15, we hope we will be finished with all the QAs and all the tests and everything, so we can be sure that we can ship ARM images. And also that will enable, thanks to Rani, the engineer from ARM, that will enable multi-arc build, so we can add, if there's a person who or organization who wants to contribute, we can add RISC-V, for example, or some other fancy architecture. Help wanted, was Vadim last points around build, for example. We still need someone to take care of the UI, UX contributions. Angular is going away, so we are still running some old libraries and frameworks there. So if you're one of these folks and you want to join us, please reach out to us, we'll help you out. Project management and release managers, that's inherently bad in most open source projects, since we don't have like that structure in place right now. So if you're interested in driving releases and poking people to do their job or finish the PRs on time and reviews on time, if you're this kind of person, reach out to me, I'll help you out. Around the build and test, we're testing some different ways how we can better build and faster and more approachable builds, so people can join. We didn't say that in the beginning, but Vadim, in his company, Container Registry, 8 years, are having like a step up of Harbor. What do you call it? Harbor Next, right?
Harbor Next, yeah.
Yeah, so it's kind of experimenting playground for what we can do in Harbor in the future. So if you're interested in how that's done, reach out again. Why it's under a different repository? It's about the velocity and traction of how fast we can do stuff, and not to break Harbor right now, but it is a stable state. So testing and CI and builds. How to collaborate with us? We're always looking to update our adopters, which will help overall get better recognition from the community standpoint. I'm open for everyone to reach out and to work with you on your use case, so we can produce a blog post or any kind of material that can help others see how you have adopted Harbor and navigate them through the landscape. You can do that by joining the community meetings. You can do that by joining our Slack. We have a few Slack channels. It's super easy to navigate to the go.harbor.io/community and find all that information. Also, we have the community mailing lists, so that's another media how you can ask questions or contribute. All that is kind of recorded, thanks to, again, to HackMD for their cooperation on the open source front. You can find, if you scan that QR code, it leads you to the community meeting, so you can see when the next meeting will be held, recording from the old one, what kind of we have discussed already, and what kind of help we are looking for. So, Vadim is going to take these sub-projects updates next.
So next, about the sub-projects of Harbor. So Harbor is not on its own. There is multiple sub-projects around Harbor. One of it is the Terraform provider, right? The Terraform provider is, for a lot of people, is an essential tool who want to automate Harbor. And the Terraform provider, as I said, it's green in a healthy state. So we have recent updates. It is supported. There is people working on that. Same goes for the Pulumi provider. Pulumi provider is not part of the Harbor project yet. We try to get this into the project sooner or later. But the Pulumi folks are still supporting and providing modules for Pulumi based on the Terraform provider. Same goes for the Crossplane provider. There's also some folks who are building a Crossplane provider on top of the Terraform provider. We have officially deprecated the operator for Harbor. So the Harbor operator purpose was to facilitate the install and provide the initial setup, but lacked the capabilities of the day 2 operation, and it was basically a wrapper around the Helm chart. So because there was also no support, no feedback, we had to deprecate and archive the project. So it's not active anymore. Then there was an effort regarding Harbor Satellite, or there is effort regarding Satellite. If you don't know Satellite, I will quickly give an update. Then there's a Harbor CLI project. We're really close to 01 release, or 1.0 release, and I'll show you what we are missing. Regarding Harbor Satellite, so Harbor Satellite was, or is, a tool that allows you to manage multiple container registries on edge locations. So you have you can manage a fleet of registries with policies and with policies, and you can define what should each registry of data contain on data, right? So the policies define how the registry should replicate images from the central registry, right? And the problem why the project is in an orange state is, while we had really a lot of positive feedback and input from the community, since the first release of the Harbor Satellite, there was not many adoption of the project, and that's why we kind of slowed down a bit with the development until we get the community feedback to see what is missing and what would they like, right? And this is just a quick overview about Harbor Satellite. So we have the edge location or the site, and the site is replicating images, like pulling artifacts, pulling the state. So basically the state is that get reconciled. There is a reconciliation loop similar to Kubernetes. So reconciling the policies, and then the policies reconciling also the images, right? And the images are fetched from a central registry, and the ground control is responsible for device management, so device registration, basically. And and we really need feedback on this project. So if you have this use case and you want to try it out, give it a try. Provide feedback how it's working for you, and based on your feedback, we're gonna drive the direction of the project. All right. So last part is the Harbor CLI. So we are really close to the one release. Most of the features are already there, like project management, repo, artifact, labels, everything. So it's pretty complete. So the only thing that we are missing is the vulnerability dashboard, the distribution capabilities, running the garbage collection, and the job service, looking for jobs or watching jobs and audit logs. So these are the features that are currently missing, and we're working on. But once we have a majority of those features, we're going to ship the 1.0 release. And I just wanted to give a quick demo of a feature that I really like. And the feature is the config feature, right? So let me just quickly run Harbor config. So what you can do, you can, of course, run config view. You can view the configuration of Harbor. So I'm currently pointing to the demo environment. This is just a configuration of your Harbor environment with all the settings.
Can you make it bigger?
Can make it bigger,
Can you see good? Should we make it bigger to be able to see it?
It's okay. No? All right. Yeah. So you know the configuration in and out. Perfect. All right. And you can, of course, then output the whole configuration to YAML or JSON, if you like, and then you can pipe the whole thing into a file, right? And when you have it piped into the file, you can change it, and if you have changed it, you can then apply it, right? So you can do apply -f config YAML, and then you get a nice overview about the changes that happened, right? So you have a kind of a diff, which is very easy to work with, to know what changed. And then, of course, if you're in a CI/CD environment, you can force this, right? You don't have the option to check it. You can just force apply it. And this can go, of course, for all the other features in Harbor. Right? There's a really interactive component of the CLI. So if you create a project create, right? So if you want to create a project, you have an interactive element here, like a kind of a wizard. But of course, if you're in a CI environment, you can just force it and provide the arguments directly, right? So project name flex. So it works as a UI alternative, but also as a CI automation tool that you can use, right? And this is really close to 1.0. All right.
With that, I think we have a few minutes for questions. And by the way, please expect, if you're not subscribed to the mailing list, please do so, because I'm going to send in the next few weeks, I hope, I'll send out the end user survey, so you can provide your feedback, what's missing, what do you want to see, what you use the most, what we really did bad in the last releases. There are some controversial ideas around integrations. So if you're missing something and we removed it, just say so. We can think about bringing it back. Depends on the community feedback.
Yeah, and if you don't like mailing lists, you can join the Slack channel. We're gonna.
It will be everywhere pretty much. Yeah. So yeah. So and by the way, that's a question. If we do a LinkedIn page for the project, would that be useful for you folks to get the updates there? I have some thumbs ups. Okay. Because it's another media, and a lot of us, we spend a few hours a day LinkedIn, I suppose, or some time. So if we want to reach out, okay.
All right, I think we have time for questions.
Don't be shy. Yeah, if you can do the mic, to be great, so to be at the recording.
Hello. First of all, thanks for the presentation. I think we've been looking at the Harbor satellite, and I noticed, I think on your feature or story, there's 3 use cases. Was there any thought around prioritizing? I think you were focusing on use case 1. I think the use case 3 was probably more of interest to us, which is basically running almost like a proxy cache on an edge server type scenario.
Well, you're the first one mentioning that, right? You should have told it like a year ago. But yeah, I mean, we just started with the first one, right? And the main reason why we started with the first one is like the observation why people using proxy, and proxying is just a result of not knowing exactly what it should be pulled, right? And if you know exactly what should be pulled, which you should know in an enterprise context, you should have a clear understanding what images should be pulled. You can do a policy, right? And this was actually our approach starting. And the third option with the proxy, the idea was to have or provide the people with a fallback option in case they're not there yet, right? And I think we didn't thought about doing this the first. Yeah. Well, thank you. Yeah, reach out to the community, to us. There is a Harbor Satellite Slack channel. Yeah, we're happy to discuss this.
I think we're at time.
Yeah, any other questions? I'm not sure if we have. I think we have a few. One question.
No. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you.